So there we go. Now we'll see if we can get all this other fun stuff to work. So I'm going to make this as short and painless as possible. For those of you who don't know, at least he's up in my right-hand corner. I don't know where he is on your computer, but we have Pat Olson, who is the Missouri Valley District Training Chair, who's kind of going to be our note taker, you could say, to today. But if you have any questions on any training things, Pat is your go-to guy there. And then if Pat doesn't know, he will approach me, but hopefully. Okay, so are you able to see in my screen here? It says Cubmasters.
Yes.
There's probably I am not a genius with this, so I am just going to go as is. So we usually don't have like specific Cubmaster meetings or Scoutmaster meetings or anything like that. A lot of times they'll take place in a round table where we can break out and cover some of these things. But we thought it would be a good idea to pull the Cubmasters and den leaders or who's ever on this kind of before everything gets started, to try and see what we can do and work into make life easier to getting all the packs back up and organized, because we know the packs, not just in our council and district, but nationwide, struggled the most last year. It is probably the first time in scouting history where Scouts BSA outnumber Cub Scouts on a national level. So we need to rebuild and get all of our Cub Scout units back up and going. Okay, I think I have everybody in here. So the first thing that I'm going to go through is the best way to start is to make sure that your unit is trained, that you have someone that has gone through training, which is the basic outdoor leader or the basic adult leader outdoor orientation. If you have not taken it, I recommend doing so, even if it is just a refresher course and a lot of the things you already know, because it is a required course for somebody in the pack. So if the pack was going to go on an overnight event, somebody has to be blue trained in order for your pack to actually do that. And this can be the Cubmaster, the den leaders, it can be all of your den leaders plus the Cubmaster. I would recommend anybody and everybody who wants to go through it to push them through it. There are 2 dates coming up this fall, August 27th and 28th down at Lewis and Clark. And then there's also one the first weekend in October up at Ayataka. So if you need that training and have not gotten registered for that, I would jump over to the council website under training and get yourself registered. And that alone will help you quite a bit. Along with that, there are all the online trainings under My.Scouting. Not only your youth protection that's required every 2 years, but if you have not taken it yet, they've added a diversity, equity, and inclusion course this year that is also on that page. I took it last week, I think a good half-hour long, something like that, something good to jump into. Now, if you're questioning, well, what courses do I need to take? I'm going to, when you go into your My.Scouting account, and I'm going to stop sharing this, and I'm just going to jump into my account here quick and give you an example for those of you who are not aware. Let me see. Where'd my mouse go? There we go. All right, are you able to see my scouting screen? So if you go up into this left icon in the top under menu and go to my trainings, and this is going to be different for everyone depending on what you're registered as. So if it ever loads here. So for example, if you are registered as the Cubmaster, it will pull up all the recommended classes that are online, like Cubmaster specific and ones like that for a Cubmaster. If you're registered as a den leader, it should pull up all the stuff recommended for a den leader. Now, myself, one wintry day when I was still a volunteer during a blizzard, I sat at home and just took a bunch of these online classes for my own sake. The den leader one, the Scoutmaster one, the committee member one, and it does not want to load for some reason. So I'm just going to stop sharing, and why that's not loading, I don't know. So whatever you are registered as, it will pop up with your recommended online courses. I'm not sure if everyone was aware of that or not. But the main thing, other than the blue training to help you guys out, the big thing that a lot of people are not aware of is our next deal here, and that is the Den Leader Experience app that is set up in Scoutbook. And this link here I will send out to everyone when we are done. But the cool thing about this is you can go in and set up an entire den's meetings for the entire year in this app, and you can link it to your phone, your tablet, your computer, whatever. It lets you plan the meetings, does the calendar automatically with agendas. In this, you can take attendance. You can send emails out directly to the parents, like after attendance is taken. It will send an email to the ones that you marked as absent directly and tell them what they missed the meeting and what they need to make up for that meeting. So just to show you an example, I'm going to go to the link here and I will send this out to everybody. And did that pop up, or is the Den Leader Experience still the one you see? Are you able to see the Scoutbook one?
No, it didn't pop up for me.
Okay, then I just have to maybe switch and rearrange screens here.
If
So when
people
you
are hearing a wind background or anything, you may want to mute me because I am outside and it might be the wind in the background.
I can do that if I can find you.
It's Debbie.
There you are. I don't know if I can meet you on my end without. I'm gonna.
Okay.
So when you click on that link, this is what it's going to take you to. And if you scroll down this,
Can I call you back? I'm in a meeting, Zoom meeting.
I will come
Okay,
back up to
sounds
the
good.
top. There's a nice about 15-minute YouTube video that'll walk you through everything hands-on here. You can download the PowerPoint presentation that it'll show you. And then this little clip here is for how to download it and connect it to your phone. But I'm going to go back up here. I'm going to go to the more information and then run you through just kind of an example of this here. I've discovered the only one that works here is this Craig Anderson. So if we log in under Craig, this is what pops up. So you can set everything up right in here. It gives you your den. If you have multiple dens, you can pick what den you're working in. You can go through and you see on here, he's got all of his meetings listed, which explains to you how to do that in that one YouTube video. But the cool thing about this is right now we're looking at the meeting for August 24th. So if you go to this here before the meeting, it tells you everything that you need to get set up before the meeting. Oops, I was in Dern, sorry. So before the meeting, it's telling you you need your flags, the candle conduct to do the candle, any den posters, your advancement chart, everything that's needed before your meeting starts. And I'm going to slide this out of the way. And then if you have notes to den leader, if you click down on that, it tells you any notes that may require for this meeting that may help you run the meeting under notes. And then the requirements, all the requirements that are going to be listed for this. If you click during, it tells you everything what to do during the meeting and takes you right down, and you can check things off as you go. And then after the meeting, it tells you what to do for after the meeting. So it's awesome. It does everything for you right there. You download your roster, your den leader roster in here. So everyone in the den pops up there, all of the adults, who they are. If I go back to the dashboard, the handbook is on here. You can get it either in a printed or in ebook style. The songbook, the den leader guide, everything that you need to run the den leader meeting is right in this den leader experience app. And then what it'll do after the meeting, you go through and literally take attendance, mark off who was there, who wasn't, and then it will send a email to all the parents of the youth that weren't there and tell them what they missed and what they need to do to get caught up with the rest of the crew. It takes care of all of your advancement and connects everything directly to Scoutbook. So if you are unfamiliar with this, when I send this link out, I highly suggest that everyone take a peek at this, because this will make organizing your meetings so much easier. The only downside to it is only people that can get in there is if you are a registered den leader. So for example, if you are the Scoutmaster, you cannot go in and set up a den leader meeting because you are not a den leader. And the reasoning for that is because you as the Cubmaster should not be running a den anyway. So for you as a smaller units where that may be the case, whoever your den leader is that's registered, you need to get in contact with your den leader and get the login information. So if it's not the same person running the den meeting every week, like if the parents are rotating through and taking turns being the den leader, that everyone is able to share and see that. But I will send out that link, and that should help like 100% on just plain organizing and everything. So I will send out this link when we are done. And I strongly suggest that everybody go in and take a look at that. I don't know.
Is there an expense to this?
Is there a what?
Expense? Or is
No,
this something
it's
free through the?
it's all part of Scout Book.
But don't you have to pay for Scout Book?
No,
Okay, thank you.
no. If there's any expenses in here, it would be purchasing the handbook via ebook or anything like that. But your den leader guide is in here for whatever den you are and all that. So it's all connected directly to Scout Book. So there is no expense to it. So, but this.
If you make like your assistant den leader, they can get in there and change stuff too. So if like you're helping a den leader, you could put like I'm the committee chair, put me in as assistant den leader, and I can go in there and help with that part of it also.
Yep. So that is like really, really helpful. I compare this to, I don't know if any of you have ever been a substitute teacher before, but with this set up and knowing what's going on, if the den leader cannot be there that night, this is as easy as stepping into a classroom as a substitute teacher, and everything should be ready to go for you. Everything is lined up. And the cool part is they set up the entire calendar for you. When you go in and do the setup process at the very beginning, you put what night you're meeting, what time you're meeting every other week, every week, whatever. You type in that info and you more or less hit submit or whatever the button is. It'll do your entire year's calendar for you and cover all the requirements automatically on completing the requirements for if it's the bears, tigers, webelos, whatever. And for example, if you discover that in January, one of your meetings calls for the activity that's the 1 mile hike for the webelos, for example, well, you can move that to a different week and rearrange the calendar. That video, that first 15-minute YouTube video walks you through how to do everything from beginning to end with this. So this is like genius. It just came out a couple of years ago, and the biggest feedback that I've gotten from it is that you have to be the den leader, or like Amy said, the assistant den leader in order to have access. And if you aren't, you have to have your den leader set it up, and then your den leader has to share that information the login information and password of how they get into it. Not anybody can jump in and set this up is the only downfall, but they did that for a specific reason. So, is there any questions on that? Like I said, I'll send the link out, and I highly
What if-
suggest everybody go in and take a look at it and get signed up for it, because it'll make your life so much easier for everything.
What
Dave,
is-
this is
Like our unit, we only have one registered den leader, so are they able to access all the different dens on this?
Yep, because if I go back over to this other screen, if I go back over this one, you see up here that here's our den leader, Craig Anderson. And if you click on the dens, he's assigned multiple dens. So he just has to click which den he's going to be working on and doing whatever. And then, so yeah, the den leader can be in multiple dens.
Sorry, Dave, if you're in Scout Book, like I assign myself as a den leader to the different dens so I could get into the different dens to help the leaders. So you have to, I think in Scout Book you have to assign it. I don't know that you can assign it in this portion of Scout Book. That makes sense, sorry.
Yeah, it does, and I am not 100% sure on that. Unfortunately, because I'm not a registered den leader, I only have access to the demo that I'm showing you right now. But that 15-minute YouTube video will walk you through on how to set everything up. And if I backtrack here a little bit, well, maybe, hold on. I think I have to. There we go. So this is the original screen the link takes you to. So once you go through this and go through all this information, I believe it is this one right here. Like once you go through all of this, it'll walk you through and take you step by step on loading your den through. Like right here, here's a PDF for it on how to do it. But it'll, as you put your den in there, it'll walk you through everything on how to get your den in there accurately and how it all works. So I recommend that once you get this link, everyone take time to look at it.
Hey, David, I had a question. This is Chris. So last year I played with this a little bit, and I didn't, what I found it hard to change anything once it hard coded everything in, like once you set your dates and everything. And there's times where I had to move a den meeting and stuff like that, but I couldn't figure out how to change anything in there. Have they changed that, or is that in some of the demo stuff on how to, say for instance, I need to move a den meeting because, too many people said they're going to be gone, but they could switch a day. I mean, can you do that, or is it all just stuck once you set it?
The way I understood it when I watched the demo video, that 15-minute video on YouTube, you if you're gonna rearrange meetings, you have to actually do that before you actually hit the finish or submit button, whatever it's called. Because once it's set up in the Den Leader experience and your calendar is set to go, it doesn't allow you, at least according to what they told me, once it's in there, it's set in stone. So for example, once you have it in there and you need to change your meeting time to just a different day of the week or something, or maybe you're going to do it next week instead of this week, and you usually don't have a meeting next week, that is going to it doesn't allow you to do that in this app. So once
Okay,
it's,
I guess I would call that kind of a downside to it too, because I mean,
yeah,
sometimes things need to change.
and it's quite possible that as they've been working with Scout Book and updating a lot of stuff, a lot of that has been updated. But according to this demo video, which was put out when Den Leader Experience was just put out a couple of years ago, once they're in there, they're pretty much set in stone. So any night changes or time changes or anything have to be done via email, text message, phone call, however your Den and pack do its main communications. So,
Right. And then I kind of, just another quick thing too. I know like when I did it, it kind of hard coded, like you're going to do this night from start to finish. It seems, I think I heard you say you can change the requirements around to more fit like seasonality type stuff. But I know it kind of just went in order last time when I did it. And I was like, well, what if I don't want to do that this time? Does that me manually having to go in and rearrange things then?
Yes, that's manually like taking your February week 2 in February and moving that meeting to October, but that all has to be done before you hit the, I forget what the button's referred to as, finish or set up or submit or whatever. That's got to be done before your entire calendar is submitted. So
okay, so once I hit finish, like even say I change my mind a month later, I can't go in and edit what that calendar is going to tell me then. Is that correct?
that's the way I understood it, correct.
Okay.
But they maybe have made changes and have allowed to edit that now, since that demo video was re-released. I forget if it was released last year or the year before, but some of that's maybe been updated to make it a little bit more user friendly. Now I do know that if, for example, you're working on Into the Wild and you don't get all the requirements completed that night, you just check off the ones that are completed. And it did talk about someplace in that video that you can mark those to be finished as in your next meeting or at a different meeting time. I would just highly recommend everyone to go through and at least spend the 15 minutes watching that promo video on it. That'll answer the gist of your questions on how that works, I think. And then if you still have more questions, you can give me a call and we can go through it, or we can find someone who's a master at it and do a breakout at a roundtable session for all of our Den leaders and strictly work on how Den Leader Experience works. So.
Can I say something real quick, Dave?
Yep, go ahead.
I just went in there and looked because I've uploaded our pack calendar into Scout Book, and it's showing that on the side. I have not tried to upload like a Den calendar or anything in there, but it does have an edit button at the top. Like I could change something. So I'm not 100%, but it sort of looks like you can change stuff. But as I said, I have not went in there and tried to put one in there. So, but there is an edit button.
Awesome, thank you. It's good to know. Any other questions on that before we move on? Okay, my next question is how many of you actively use Scout Book? Or are we still doing it old fashioned style with paper and all of that? Because,
Tech 87 uses Scout Book.
okay. Now, are we quite knowledgeable on that? Are there things that you need to learn yet? Because I know last year we had Carol Keenan kind of do a roundtable on a run through on Scout Book that did a lot of question and answer. And I think that, Amy, correct me if I'm wrong, on our agenda again this year to do a roundtable meeting dealing strictly with Scout Book. So we can, if there's still a lot of people that are not really familiar with Scout Book, let us know, and we will definitely work that into a roundtable or even a breakout in roundtable specifically just on those who want to deal with learning more on Scout Book and how to use it, because that also you can send direct emails straight to parents and everything right through Scout Book without having to go back to your Outlook or Gmail or whatever you use for email and send the emails that way. You can do it all right through Scout Book, as long as all of your parents are connected within Scout Book, of course. So
I had one question on that, on the emailing part. I don't know if anybody knows, but I've used it a little bit, but is there like a sent kind of file or a sent email spot? Like, I know when I've done it, then, so I'm trying to remember what did I send and what didn't. And if there, I guess that's one thing about using that. If there isn't like a sent box, how do you know, can you go back and look at what you've sent?
I would not know the answer.
When I send emails, I make sure I copy it to myself so I get it also, because I'm in there as a parent and the committee chair. So that way it sends
Right.
it to me along with everybody else. But no, there's not a sent box. That would be nice though.
Awesome, thanks, Amy. Yeah, unfortunately, I am not a genius on Scout Book, because this kind of started and created right at the end of my volunteer time. So the only thing I get in there can see now is my son's information, who is now aged out. So he'll probably even disappear out of there. But if we need to set up a session with Roundtable dealing directly with Scout Book, Amy Steele, who is our Roundtable commissioner, you can either let myself know or Amy know or even Pat know, and between the three of us we will get it all worked up, because we want to do everything we can this year to help make the life of being a Cubmaster easier, to bring our pack success and attendance back up to what it was before last year's pandemic. So that's really all I wanted to go through with you today. Does anyone have any questions on anything particular, like recruitment nights coming up or anything like that? I know there are a bunch of flyers and Scout Talks getting ready for the August 26th ones, and the Mitchell ones are September 2nd. And then we are starting to work on round 2 for those of you that are scheduled for the 14th. Does anybody have any questions about anything dealing with your pack right now, even if it's something that was not discussed today?
Hey, David, do you know when the flyers will get to schools in Pierre for the 26th?
I will be bringing them out there on Monday. So they should be
Okay.
going home Monday night or Tuesday of next week.
Okay.
And unfortunately, out in Pier, as of now, they are not letting me do school talks, just an FYI. It will be just the flyers going home. So I would make sure, like, you probably all received the Facebook short little video for the 26th. I'm assuming for those of you that have your recruitment set up for the 14th, they'll do another one of those for the 14th, but I would make sure that if you are a Facebook person to share that on Facebook, so everyone is aware of it, and it can be the more that we can get communicated about our recruitment nights, the better off we will be.
Hey,
So,
Dave,
yep.
do you know if they're, like last year, Sioux Council set up like Facebook events that we could share with people saying that we're doing the recruitment night? Are they setting those up again this year? Do you know?
I think that's what that like 20-second video I sent to the
No.
teacher the other night. What was that? Not the same?
It's not a video, no. Like on Facebook, you can share like your set up an event night and like invite people to that, like telling them where to go and stuff. I know they did something last year. I don't remember, but I don't know who set that up or who does it.
I don't either. I will look into it and I can let everyone know that information once I find out.
Thank you.
I've had one come across for Pier on the 26th that comes out and shows. So I guess I can't say towards Mitchell, but we've had one and I've sent that out through my friends and stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah, I will double check and see what they're, I would assume if they did it last year, they're doing it again this year. I'm not a very strong Facebook person. I literally just started an account a couple weeks ago. So I know absolutely nothing about Facebook. So you're kind of asking the wrong person. But I can definitely find out that information. Is there anything else other than that? I will let you go so you can have time to eat your lunch. I will send out that link and I will send out the recording of this meeting. Any last questions on anything at all before I let you go? Going once, twice, sold. Well, thank you very much for all of you who attended. Make sure you spread the word of when recruitment's going on. And, you know, the goal this year is to get our Cub Scout numbers back up. And the best way to do that is to have awesome recruitment nights. Make sure that we have the right volunteers in the right place, and so on and so forth. And if your unit needs help with any of that stuff, reach out to me or Will directly, and we will do everything in our power to help your unit get back up on its feet strong straight off the bat this year, and get back into sharing the wonderful program of Scouts with all the youth. So with that being said, I will let you go, and as soon as I figure out how to get this downloaded, I will send everything out to all of you. So thank you very much for joining, and have a wonderful rest of your noon hour and day, and we'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
We'll see ya.